Hello, this video that I'm showing you today will show you how to make this card. The card is very pretty, very simple, but the important thing that I want to show you today is a technique, and that is how to use a laser printer to get gold or any color foil letters using reactive gold and a laminator. So I have this laminator. It cost me $15, very cheap, and I got that at our favorite mass store, which has massive discounts, which I won't say. Heidi Swapp is the brand name of this foil that I have, and they also make a laminator machine which works just like the one I just showed you for maybe 3 or 4 times the price. So I would suggest you go to Staples or someplace like that and get an office laminator for what I'm getting ready to show you. This will only work with a laser printer. The laser printer toner, you can print out anything on your computer, and then if you run it through the laminator machine, you can get the gold lettering. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. Oh, there we go. You can see it's nice and shiny. But you can use this technique for any printout that you have from your laser printer. It will not work, to my knowledge, with an inkjet printer, but there is something called a toner pen that you can buy, and it'll work just the same. The foil sticks to the toner ink. All right, let me go over the materials that we need for this card today. The design is very simple. I have a card base 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. I have a white panel here. A white panel 3.5 by 4 3/4. I have a piece of pattern paper cut 4.5 by 3 1/4. I have a pink square, which is 3 inches, and I have a white. You could use a white square too, but this is also about 3 inches, and it's a little bit longer. I have a white scrap, which is 3.5 by 4 7/5, and a little white strip, which is about 1 inch by 3. And I have trimmed off some of the foil from the roll. This foil roll will last a very long time. I have used this for many things, and I've only gotten just a couple of pieces off of it. So don't let the price of the foil scare you away from trying it, because you get a lot of bang for your buck. The inks I'm using today is just 2, Versafine Onyx Black and Memento Lilac Posies. The stamp set I'm using is Sprinkled Expressions by Stampin'. I'm also going to need flower embellishments and rhinestones and a small bow. Let me clear this stuff up, and I'll show you how to make the front of the card, and then I'll show you how to do the foiling technique. Okay, first thing I'm going to stamp will be this sentiment, and I'm going to do a technique which allows me to get the flowers in one color and the text in another color. So I'm going to take the lavender and barely tap the edge of the stamp into the lavender, being careful not to get the letters. And I did the purple first, because if I was a little bit off, the black would cover it because it's very dark. And now I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing and pick up the letters. And I also got my thumb. Okay, I think I need a little bit more. Okay, now stamping a little bit over from the end. There we go. It's very easy to do. I have this bowl with my homemade stamp cleaner soaked in my rag. So I'm going to take my scissors and trim this a little bit because this is longer than I need. And cut up a little bit in, and then come from the ends and make a banner. Okay, now I have a sponge dauber, which I've been using to do the black soot distress ink, so I have plenty of ink on it, but I didn't bother to re-ink it because I just want a light shadowing of ink on it. But this is black soot distress ink on this dauber. You could use any black you had. You don't need to use the distress ink for this. Okay. Now that's good. Now take this, and I am bringing in my Misty tool, and I already have my stamp in place. And I'm going to ink this flower up and stamp it. I'm using my Misty tool for this, even though it's just one simple stamp, because this stamp has a lot of area, so sometimes you don't get a really good impression on the first try. So if I don't get a good impression, I can re-ink it and try again. Let's see how it went, and something is not right here. Magnet, that's what that was. All right, pretty good. I think I'll live with that. But as I said, I could have stamped it again if it didn't go right. Okay. Oops. Now I'm taking, I have a 2.5 inch circle punch and a 2.25 inch circle punch. I'm taking the 2.25 inch and I'm cutting out the flower. Just line it up in the center and punch. And now taking the larger punch, and I'm going to punch out the pink. Okay, take this to that. Oops. And this, very simply, grab my tape, my ATG gun for this, tape this down to the larger white panel. Bring in my card base. Press the seam and take that directly to that. Now, I need a little bit of foam tape to pop this up some. So get my little wheel. 3 pieces ought to do it. A little bit extra, cut that off. Still a little bit. Gonna make sure that none of the foam doesn't stick through from the back, because that's not a good look. Okay. Now, move this. I'm going to move on to the inside. I had a sentiment that someone gave me, and they wanted the card to read that, and it just says, "I just miss you, Echo Love Gamera." So I've already run this through my laser printer, and this is on cardstock. I just put a piece of cardstock into the paper tray and pulled it out, and then trimmed it to this dimension that I need. So at this point, you take and you get a piece of copy paper, and you fold it in half, and you take a piece of the foil, it's a very small piece, and you just lay it in place, shiny side up. It's important. And put it in the copy paper. You don't need this step, I've been told, but I find it's better to be safe than sorry, and I don't want this to jam in my laminator machine, and I can easily feed it through with the copy maker, with the copy paper. So I'm bringing in my laminator. I don't have a lot of room, forgive me, and it's already been heating up. It's best to do it on the number 5 mil. And I unplugged it to move it into the camera range, so it needs to cool up, heat up again, it thinks, but it's fine. So you just feed it into the back. And there it goes. I'm going to run it through 2 times just to make sure. But I am finished with you. So take it out of the way. This just needs a few seconds to cool off. Okay, and you just peel it back, and there you are. Simple as that. It is possible to use the reverse image of this. Let me put a piece of paper behind it so you can see. So you could actually use that too if you were so inclined. But I'm going to just throw it away. I don't need it. All right. You saw how easy that was? This is a beautiful thing to have if you want to do wedding invitations or graduation invitations. You don't have to go and spend hundreds of dollars for glittery invitations if you just use this little trick. Very simple. Now moving on to the final assembly. I tape gun again. Now I'm pulling the paper off this, but I want that to be tucked behind it. So before I press it down, I'm going to adhere that banner, but I just want to have this ready to go. So just a little tape on the back. There we go. And where are my flowers? Okay, out of my reach. I just have these recollection paper flowers and my glue dots. Just need to get 6. Well, more than 6. pay for the dark to the light. For these particular things, they're made out of paper. So when you're putting them on the glue dots, you have to be careful because it's very easy to tear them when you're taking them off. But as always, you put the flower on the glue dots. It's easier than the glue dots on the flower. The final one. And since I have the glue dots, I also want to add a bow. Okay. Bow. See, I lost the glue dot on that one. There we go. There we go. And now I need rhinestones. And these rhinestones are in a row, and I need them to be individual. So I just take my scissors and snip through them, separate them from each other. Then my tweezers, and move them to the center of the flower. This way. Press so they don't move anywhere. All right, there we go. That's the finished card. It was very simple, very quick. The hardest part was waiting for that laminator to heat up. Please take a chance and try it yourself. As I said, the laminator is not expensive at all when you consider the option to go to Staples or someplace like that. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to do another video for a very similar card using the same technique. Please watch for it later today. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.